Hey everyone, today I'm finally checking out the OnePlus Buds Pro 2. They've been out for close to 6 months now, so think of this like an updated review. They have been updated quite a bit through firmware. And these buds retail for 179 US. I got them on a bit of a bargain, paid 194 Australian. And at that price, they're competing with the best of the best in certain ways. They may even dethrone my current favorite, the Momentum 3. So today I'll be comparing them to tons of earbuds, over like 10 different earbuds, because as usual here, we're going in depth. So let's get into it, starting with how these buds fit. You get 3 sizes of ear tips. The mediums work the best for me, and these have a very AirPods Pro-like fit and design. As you can tell, it's basically an AirPods Pro with a bit of color. Not as comfortable as them though. They do feel a little bit more intrusive in the ear canal, slightly deeper, but for my ears, I don't mind a deep fit. They're very comfortable for me. I also test all my earbuds when weight training and running. They stayed in my ears great. Squats, bench, deadlift, rows, any kind of exercise. The buds barely budge out of my ears. I'm rarely having to readjust them throughout my workouts. And in my running tests, they stay in great. They have very minimal body-borne noise from the impact that you make on the ground and hearing your own breathing. And the transparency mode works pretty well. It doesn't let too much wind in through the microphone. So you can run, hear your surroundings, not get hit by a car, and also not hear too much wind coming in through the microphones of your earbuds. And if you like using your earbuds when training, the buds themselves have an IP55 dust and water resistant rating. The case also has an IPX4 water resistant rating. And speaking of the case, OnePlus has nailed it with how thin it is, and you still get a decent amount of battery life. 9 hours with the buds, 39 hours in total with noise cancelling off. It does drop down a bit to 6 hours from the buds and 25 hours in total with noise cancelling on, still pretty decent. And in my test at 60% volume on an iPhone 12 Pro, this was with noise cancelling off. I couldn't test with noise cancelling on because the buds need to be in an actual ear canal. But anyway, I got 9 hours and 27 minutes with noise cancelling off, so pretty much right on the advertised amounts there. Expect 6 hours with noise cancelling on. You also get fast charge on the actual case. So charge your case up for 10 minutes. That's going to give you 10 hours of battery life. And the buds also have fast charge. So 10 minutes in the case, that'll give you 3 hours of playback. They're compatible with wireless charging, and the actual feel of the case, it has a nice premium metal feel, one color LED indicator on the front. And even though it is thin, it's not the thinnest case out there. I compare all my cases to the AirPods Pro case because that is one of the thinnest cases out there. Buds Pro 2 do come pretty close though. Now you can tell I'm comparing to AirPods Pro a lot, and that's going to continue on with controls here because they use the same squeeze controls or force touch on AirPods Pro, and it does work just as well. The only issue is you just don't get anywhere near the amount of control that AirPods Pro have. Now here's what you can control. You can customize the double tap and the triple tap in the app, but that's all you can customize, and you don't have the option to add volume up and down, which is very strange to not see it as an option, and this too have not been updated since these buds came out. The buds also have in-ear detection to automatically pause and play your music when you take the buds in and out of your ears. It's not instant, it takes about 2 seconds for it to react. It's also nice when you have noise cancelling on, take one bud out, the bud that's still in your ear, transparency mode will switch on, so you don't have noise cancelling on in just one ear. And I couldn't find on any spec sheet whether or not these have skin detection, but they did pass my pocket test where I take one earbud out, put it in my pocket, and then just resume playing the music. And when the bud was in my pocket, music wouldn't resume. Even when I moved around and did some lunges and walked and ran around, it was all good. A slight issue with in-ear detection. I just tested this on an iPhone 12 Pro, but you actually can't turn in-ear detection off in the Hey Melody app. So this may be different on Android, especially with a OnePlus phone. I think you have more customization. I just don't have a OnePlus phone, so I can't check. And speaking of OnePlus phones, if you do have a OnePlus phone, you're gonna get better connectivity because they use LHDC, which is like LDAC, high-res audio, but with lower latency. So these also have Bluetooth 5.3, the usual SBC and AAC. But again, I don't have a compatible phone with LHDC. It's not just OnePlus phones. A lot of Android phones have this codec. So it's not just the audio quality improvement, which is gonna be like a couple of percent, even with high quality streaming compared to AAC. But the lower latency would be interesting to test when gaming. These have a low latency gaming mode anyway. So here's what I got in my test on iOS and Android. For casual gaming, 400 milliseconds is okay. If you're into fast reaction games like shooters, you want to get closer to 200 milliseconds. Again, on an LHDC phone, this is probably going to be lower, closer to around 150 milliseconds, which is kind of what you get with AirPods Pro and AirPods Pro 2 on Apple devices. And just to be sure, I also checked if you can use one bud while you leave the other in the case. Most earbuds today, it's completely fine. OnePlus Buds Pro 2, all good, but What I'm always checking to see is whether or not the buds work in mono mode. So at least on iPhone 12 Pro, it doesn't work in mono mode. So if you're using the right earbud, you're only going to hear the right audio channel. Left earbud, only the left audio channel. A small thing, but worth mentioning. These buds also have Google Fast Pair as well as dual connection to connect two devices at the same time. I tested this on my MacBook M1 and iPhone 12 Pro. And like most dual connection, you just need to pause playback on one device before you resume it on the other device. And it usually takes about 3 seconds for the audio to kick in. All right, now let's head outside and see what the call quality is like. I'm going to compare it to two of the best AirPods Pro 2 and Nothing Ear 2. So here are the samples. Recording off my iPhone 12 Pro so you get an idea of the noise going on around me. All right, so starting the test here with the AirPods Pro 2. All right, and here is the call quality of the Nothing Ear 2. All right, and here is the call quality of the OnePlus Buds Pro 2. Hopefully you're able to hear my voice quite well and all the noise around me is getting blocked out. All right, before we talk about noise canceling, if you're enjoying this style of review here, please chuck a like down there because it really does help the video and the channel out. Now, how I test my noise canceling, I'm on my soundbar and I'm playing simulation plain noise, crowd noise, and just random music. So I'm getting low frequency sounds, mid frequencies, and high frequencies. And for the price you're paying here, I was expecting better noise cancelling, to be honest. Here's my noise cancelling ranking with all the latest earbuds that I have tested. So overall, it's still pretty decent. It doesn't really struggle with certain frequencies. It just doesn't block out much sound overall compared to buds in a similar price, even buds that are a little bit cheaper. And you can get buds half the price with slightly stronger noise cancelling than the Buds Pro 2. Now let's talk about EQ shift. That's how your sound quality changes with noise cancelling on compared to noise cancelling off, compared to transparency mode on, because there is a little bit of it, a little bit more than I'd like to see with a bud at this price. What's good to see is with noise cancelling on compared to noise cancelling off, the sound quality sounds the same. But when you turn transparency mode on, you lose about 15% of treble and about 5 to 10% of the bass. So it's not a dramatic difference, but it's definitely noticeable. Now you do get a decent amount of personalization in the app. You can choose a manual mode, 3 different levels of noise cancelling strength, or you can turn it to adaptive mode, which will adjust the strength dependent on the environment around you. You can also run through a quick test to adjust the noise cancelling to your specific ear canal, but in my testing, I didn't notice any improvement, and it also didn't make the noise cancelling worse, but this will differ from person to person. Now, it doesn't say this anywhere, but the noise cancelling also has wind noise reduction built in. There is no option to turn this on or off in the app, but how it works, when you have noise cancelling on and the microphones pick up any wind noise, it'll automatically block that wind noise, but with that, it'll start to turn the strength of the noise cancelling down. And this usually takes about 10 up to 20 seconds for the noise cancelling to automatically switch back on. And this will also happen with the transparency mode. Now, definitely not a deal breaker, but I think it's good to have the option to turn that off. But speaking of the transparency mode, it's pretty decent. Definitely not the best, definitely not on the level of AirPods Pro. What it's best at is just general awareness, your surrounding environment. Hearing voices is okay. Being able to hear a conversation is okay if you want to talk to someone and leave your earbuds in. But when you are speaking, there is a little bit of occlusion in your ears. So the transparency is just good enough to have a conversation with. And there is no customization of the transparency in the app, which would have been nice to see. Now, before we talk about what's most important, sound quality, let's quickly touch up on volume, because I remember watching a DHRME video when these buds came out, and they talked about how at low volumes, the buds didn't sound very good. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they've been updated. So now when you are listening at lower volumes, you get a nice amount of bass, treble, and mids. It doesn't sound like anything is too lacking. It kind of retains that same tuning all the way to the higher volumes. And if you're looking for loud level listening, these go super duper loud, like above 80% volume. That's when I'm in serious hearing loss territory. So anything above that, they still sound great. You can turn the bass up on these buds, crank it, and these barely distort at the high volumes. They don't lose any bass. They retain the same tuning from the low volumes all the way to the high volumes. And these also have spatial audio, but this seems to be a OnePlus only feature. I don't have a OnePlus One. I don't have a OnePlus One. I don't have a 2 phone. I don't have a OnePlus phone. So again, I don't know if it's any good. But now onto the sound itself. And to explain it simply, this is V-shaped tuning perfected. The bass hits deep, it's not over the top or bloated. The mids are dialed back slightly, but male and female vocals have great presence. Treble and soundstage are the standouts though. You get a nice open sound with the best treble I've heard in a true wireless earbud. It has nice sparkle and detail. It's direct, but while at the same time, rarely getting too harsh or sibilant. And it's able to separate itself from the bass and mids. The bass is pretty boosted again, but it just cuts through really well, super clear. I like it. So you can expect with this the instrument separation. For the amount of bass you are getting, very impressive. And out of the box, the way they're tuned, it's like pretty much my perfect kind of tuning. Like I always say, I'm a bass file, give me as much bass as possible, but I want to retain as much clarity as possible. That's exactly what you're getting with the Buds Pro 2. Now you do get some sound personalization with the hearing test. I ran through the hearing test and it kind of made everything sound a little bit too harsh and over the top. Again, this might work better for you. It's going to be different for everyone. You also have some presets, one by Hans Zimmer. They managed to get Old Mate Zimmer to promote these buds. Pretty cool. Don't think you'd actually use them though, but pretty cool. And you also get regular EQ customization. But the bass customization is pretty interesting because you can choose a regular bass boost or use what they call bass wave, which will boost the bass while retaining more clarity than the regular bass boost EQ. You can push out some serious bass with these at high volumes if you want to venture to those high volumes with very minimal distortion. You can just chuck that bass wave all the way up. I found kind of combining the bass boost and a bit of bass wave sounded pretty good, but normally my favorite tuning is what they are out of the box. Increasing the bass wave by just 1 is pretty good as well, where it's not too over the top. But if you want to go to those crazy over the top subwoofer levels, you can do it with these. All right, so the sound quality is good. Other features, pretty decent, but now let's see how they compare to the best of the best at a similar price. So here are some of the best earbuds in that similar price range. When it comes to noise cancelling, they're in the 4th spot there. Not the best noise cancelling, but still pretty decent. One More Evo still taking that #1 spot. Now, when it comes to the transparency mode, you got the JBL Live Pro 2 in the 1st spot, OnePlus in the 2nd spot. And then honestly, everything here is pretty close. All the transparency modes are pretty decent, so it's all pretty close there. And when it comes to sound quality, OnePlus is in the 1st spot. Nothing Ear 2 is a close 2nd. If you like a bit more of a balanced tuning, you might prefer the Nothing Ear 2. Soundcore Liberty 4, that is a close 3rd. Live Pro 2 4th. LinkBuds S 5th. One More Evo in the 6th spot. Again, all pretty close there. Now I'm going to compare them to buds in any price range so you can get an idea if you want to maybe save your money, go for the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, fork out a bit extra and go for a more expensive pair. When it comes to noise cancelling, they're in the last spot. Bose still in the #1 spot, closely followed by AirPods Pro, then Sony, Sennheiser, Samsung, OnePlus last. With the transparency mode, like I said, AirPods Pro is still the best. Bose come pretty close in that 2nd spot, same with Sony, but OnePlus are tied with the Momentum and the Galaxy Buds Pro 2. Now when it comes to sound quality, this may be controversial, but I'm putting OnePlus Buds Pro 2 in the #1 spot. If you like a slightly more balanced tuning, you may prefer the sound of the AirPods Pro 2 or the Galaxy Buds Pro 2, but still the amount of detail, separation and soundstage you're getting with that bass boosting on the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, it's just what I personally like. If you like a little bit of bass too, you're definitely gonna like them. And yes, they have dethroned my original favorite dynamic sounding earbud, the Sennheiser Momentum 3. This was a super close one. The Buds Pro 2 win just when it comes to instrument separation and soundstage, and the treble has just a little bit more detail as well. The Momentum 3 can still push out more bass when you really take them to extreme bass levels, but I gotta give it to the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, the new king of the dynamic V-shaped tuning. They also fit me better than the Momentum 3. Noise cancelling isn't as strong, but I'm starting to use the OnePlus Buds Pro 2 a little bit more than the Momentums. All right, that wraps it up. Thank you for watching. Be sure to watch this video here that YouTube is recommending you specifically. So check it out. In the meantime, stay picky. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.